It's 11:15, and we're doing Trusting in God Devotional. It's Tuesday night. It's April the 26th. And this one tonight is called A Call to Count the Cost. I haven't read it, so I don't know what it's talking about. I know that I did a video back in 2016 or 2017, probably 2016. 2016 was the year I came back from the Philippines to Canada, then went to visit in America. Loved it in Kentucky especially. Went to Texas, it got hot, didn't have a great experience down there. And it wasn't the state per se that was the problem, it was the company. So Kentucky it was, that's where I stayed. I visited Kentucky until, I believe it was August. It was probably May, about a week in Texas, and then I stayed till August. And then I came back in, I believe, October and stayed till early 2017. Went back to Canada, went late in the year, went back again. And then back to Canada in 2018. Did a lot of traveling back and forth. And then later in 2018, August, came down here for a while. Then went back home and then came back. So, yeah, I've been a busy guy. But in 2016, I had a video about counting the cost of being a disciple of Jesus Christ. And we read something in Luke where Jesus was speaking to everybody, telling them, hey, you have to count the cost of what it's going to cost you to be my follower. And that's something we all need to ask ourselves, whether we consciously do it or subconsciously. You know what? Being a disciple of Jesus, what's this going to cost me? And if you fully surrender your life to Him, you don't really have to get into any specifics. Just say, Lord, you have every area of my life. Everything I have is yours. I'm going to do what you want me to do. Even if I don't like it sometimes, I'm going to do it anyway because I'm obedient. You are God and I'm your servant. In Matthew 8:19, it says, one of the teachers of the religious law said to him, Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. Now, was that true? Let's take a look at it. Let's read Matthew 8:18 through 22 now. And then we'll see what we can do. All right. The heading here in this Bible says the would-be followers of Jesus. So let's examine this. It says, Now when Jesus saw large crowds around him, he gave a command to depart to the other side. Then a certain scribe, that is someone who takes, writes the laws and stuff like that, writes things, came and said to him, Teacher, I will follow you wherever you go. Now, this is pretty good lip service, I'll admit that. Oh, Jesus, wherever you go, I'm going to go with you. That's what he said, and a lot of people say it today, but look what happens. Jesus replied, The foxes have holes, and the birds of the air have nests, but the Son of Man has no place to lay his head. In other words, he's hinting, you know what? You're going to be sleeping outside a lot. You're not going to have a nice cozy bed and a mansion to sleep in. Another of his other disciples said to him, Lord, let me first go and bury my father. But Jesus said to him, Follow me and let the dead bury their dead. Now, I believe there was a cultural reference being made here. From my understanding, I'm not going to go into all that, but let's take a look and see what they say in the devotional. But I'm just going to tell you this, from following Jesus now fully for over 9 years, going into my 10th year of being a sold-out disciple of Jesus, you're going to live periods of time where it's not going to be comfortable. You're in battles, you're in a war, you have to sacrifice, you got to crucify your flesh, you got a lot of things that you're going to have to do that you won't enjoy. But you just have to do them. And I'm preaching to myself because there's something right now that I might have to do this week, possibly, that my flesh really doesn't want to do. But I'll follow the Spirit of God wherever He leads me, whatever He wants me to do or say, I'll do it. Even though my flesh is very much not into it. A call to count the cost. The author says, Matthew probably included this incident in the chapter on miracles because he saw a miracle in it. A teacher of religious law, or a scribe, I believe the scribes also did some teaching, a teacher of religious law wanted to follow Jesus. And he gave Jesus the highest title of honor. He said, teacher. This in itself was a miracle. A scribe giving Jesus this title and wishing to follow him while Jesus stood for the abolishment of all the narrow-minded legalism that the theology of the teachers of religious law was built on. Sure, that is a miracle, isn't it? And we know how the Pharisees, how they stuck to their tradition, that's for sure. After the teacher of religious law had spoken these words, Jesus told him that foxes had dens to live in and birds had nests, but the Son of God didn't even have a place to lay his head. It is as if Jesus was saying to him, first think about what you are doing before you follow me. Isn't that kind of what I just said a few minutes ago? Count the cost. First, count the cost. There it is. Jesus didn't want followers that got carried away in an emotional moment. Jesus talked about taking up a cross. Matthew 10:38. Loving him more than family. Luke 14:26. Giving everything away to the poor. Matthew 19:21. What Jesus was in fact asking was, do you love me enough to pay the price of discipleship? There it is. That's the heart of this message right here and right now. And this is true. You'll get people who go to a revival or, a big church event. Lots of people. It could be a mega church even. And there's all this praise and worship and the emotions flying. The Holy Spirit's present. Wonderful things. Nothing wrong with that. But then a person gets caught up in the moment. And they go up. They say, Lord, I'm giving it all to you. I'll do whatever you want me to do. Because they're being led of their emotion. They haven't thought it out. Do I really mean this? Am I putting my faith into my words? Am I really going to carry this out? Or am I just feeling an experience and letting my emotions lead what I'm saying? Am I going to back up what I'm saying? Am I going to keep my word? And yeah, it's a wonderful thing when you're moved by the Spirit of God, but you never let your emotions make your decisions for you because they can get you in big trouble. And I believe it's better not to fully surrender than to say you're going to do it and then don't. I think it's better to fully surrender when you're ready to do it. But every Christian needs to do that. So again, don't be led by your emotions. And that kind of ties into this here. Everywhere in life, we are confronted with demands. Students must be willing to learn. Athletes must deny themselves many things and be willing to train very hard. This is true. All of this is not to put a damper on enthusiasm. However, it is quite clear that if a person's enthusiasm doesn't count the cost of whatever it is that he's letting himself in for, the venture will be a failure right from the start. And that's pretty much what I was saying. We dare not teach people that Christ's path is an easy path. And I've said that before. Teaching people that everything's going to be great once they come to Jesus, they'll have no problems. You're not doing them any service. You're doing them a great disservice. Jesus never said it would be an easy path. In fact, the Word says that Jesus told them, in this life you will have tribulation. He told them, you're going to be persecuted for my sake. And when you're persecuted for my sake, I'm still going to bless you. Jesus never preached that it would be easy. He just told us, do not fear. Be comforted. I'm never going to leave you. My Spirit's going to be with you. I'm always going to be there for you. You're never alone. And why would he say that? Because he knew that it was going to be hard. This walk is hard, guys. I'm not going to say it's easy. It can get easier in some aspects, but you have to learn to overcome the challenges and know what to do. Charles H. Spurgeon, good preacher in England, said, there are no crown wearers in heaven who were not cross bearers on earth. That's a good illustration. The prayer at the bottom says, Holy Master, help me to follow wherever you lead me. Yes, it's a good prayer, and I hope you mean it when you say it. God will lead you, but you're going to have to crucify the old man and keep him buried. That's something I learned myself. Have a blessed night, guys. I'm going to go. We'll see you next time.